You can take two people. These are my two people, Mr. A, Mr. B. They have the same intelligence, the same ambitions, and they have the same work ethic. You can put the both of them in the same situation, and one of them will always come out ahead of the other. Will move faster, will make better decisions, and will experience less problems and for shorter periods of time. Why does the other person feel stuck, overwhelmed, and constantly blocked? Why does Mr. A have more victory and ease in life with the same intelligence, the same smarts, the same work ethic? Because one person knows how to use people. Because Mr. A doesn't care about the fact that, oh my God, did you just say you need to learn how to use people? Oh my gosh, Sharon, how can you say that? It's 2026. Oh my God. Mr. A doesn't care about that. You care about that. Mr. A doesn't care. So the difference between Mr. A and Mr. B, do you see them? Very beautiful people. So the difference between Mr. A and Mr. B isn't talent. It is the ability to use people like a freaking resource, because that's exactly what they are. Hello. Hi, darling. I want you to think about it like a city, and these days I get to hear loads of stuff about how cities are built together and they intertwine, because I'm married to an engineer, so I receive lots of those unnecessary information until it becomes necessary because I need to tell it to you now. Think about it like a city. A city doesn't work because it has beautiful, tall buildings that are gorgeous, by the way. No, a city works because of the interconnectivity of streets and alleyways and cul-de-sacs versus closes, and all of that works together. There is an interconnectivity going on. Did you know that people actually go to university to study city planning? That's how I want you to think about this. Your life works the same way a city does. Who you get information from, how fast you move, what opportunities you reach, how your mistakes are corrected and how quickly they are corrected, and whether your stress is absorbed or multiplied completely depends on your ability to use people. So get very comfortable with me saying that phrase again and again. Use people. Use people. People should be used. Are you comfortable yet? Because I don't want to get halfway through the video and you're bursting into tears because you think I'm being unethical. That would be very, very disruptive. The people in your life should be thought of as systems, infrastructure. That is how I want you to perceive them. They need to have utility. They need to have utility in solving your problems, moving your life forward, bringing you peace, giving you sanity, something. I don't think that most people fail because they aren't capable. I think that they fail because their efforts are moving through systems that are broken. You don't experience life directly. You actually experience life through people, the people around you. You experience life through your manager. You experience life through your boss. Think about the 9 hours that you are at work. You are experiencing your life mostly through your manager's lens. If your manager's awful and if your manager's a dick, those 9 hours at work is horrid for you. If you don't work well with your team, if those 9 hours at work, you are experiencing life through very horrendous lenses. So you experience life through people. It becomes extremely important for you to learn how to manipulate those situations, manipulate your own environment, so that you are optimized for, not to sound corny, but greatness. If you don't understand that, you will keep blaming yourself for problems that are actually structural. Remember I said people are infrastructure. So if you don't understand that you are actually experiencing life through the people around you, you will blame yourself when really you should blame the infrastructure around you. So let's start there. What is it that makes a person want to help another person? How do people decide to help? I'm sure you've asked several people across your life for help in one capacity or the other at different points. Some of them have said no. Some of them said yes. Some of them went above and beyond. Some of them said yes reluctantly. How do people decide to help a different person? And it's not what you think. It's not about how polite you are or how lovely you are or if you have an incredible smile like I do. It's not about that. I have an amazing smile and people still say no to me. Yeah. If you want to be able to use people efficiently, you need to understand how decisions are made in their mind, not morally. So don't start with me, not emotionally, psychologically. What is the psychological basis for how people make decisions? I'll give it to you plainly. Are you ready? People make decisions based on their own incentives. Their own incentives come first. People only support what aligns with their interests. If you are asking me for something and it doesn't align with my interest, I'm not interested in helping you. That's simply how that works. I know that it's easier to tell you that if you just message someone and you show that you're earnest and you show that you really mean business and I'm going to work hard with this opportunity you give me, that they will have absolutely no other option but to say yes. There is another option, they could block you. That option is always available. I've used the LinkedIn block button very often. So the thing that mommy told you at 5 years old, my mommy told me the same thing too. I think mummies have to say that because they're nice people. If you just ask earnestly, they will just say yes. That's not true. That's not true. They'll block you and report your account. So back to the people you want to use. You have to align yourself with their interests. And no, those interests aren't always money. Number one can be money. Yes, you are right. Money. Yes, it could be one of them, one of 1,000. What else could their interest be? Reputation. I think this is what the cool kids call clout. Clout is part of reputation. So one of the many interests a person can have is reputation. So if you are asking me for something, it aligns with my reputation and how I want to be perceived by the world, I am more inclined to saying yes. And so you get to use me. Are you following me? Number 3. Number 1 was money. Number 2 is reputation. Number 3 is relevance. So you can ask me for something that is absolutely irrelevant to my field, what I'm working on right now, my current interests, that sort of thing. I have a manager. My manager is very strict. She says no very quickly. No, that's not relevant to us right now in this season. And that doesn't mean she's mean. That's because we are trying to optimize our time. So number 3 is relevance. If you ask me for something and it is relevant to what I'm currently working on, my current interests, my current goals, if it is relevant to that, you get to use me. If it's not, you don't get to use me. Number 4, career growth. Now this is for my worker bees. When you ask someone for help, be that a manager, a director, someone, and you want something from them, if it isn't aligned with their interest in their career growth, so the project needs to be aligned with the promotion they want. If it doesn't align, you don't get to use that person. You can't use them because you haven't mentioned the thing that's on their mind. It's psychological. You have to mention the thing that's on their mind and then their ears perk up. Oh, say that again. Wait, what was that? Really? Okay, tell me more. If it's completely irrelevant to their career growth, then they don't care. They're only focused on their promotion right now. So that's irrelevant. Number 5. And number 5 is a really good one. I think you'll find a lot of people with this interest. Learning something new. This is why people might even sign up for a study, an unpaid study. People who are just curious, just nerds. I'm one of them. I love it. Once my husband starts talking to me about some super random thing that I have literally never thought about, I'm very, very curious. In like 2 minutes, I'm hooked and I'm asking more questions. So if you find someone who is naturally very curious and is always interested in learning something new, they might be interested in the study for people to come and test out your new product. They might be, but it needs to align with their interest in learning something new. That was only five of the many different reasons why you can be able to use people or why you don't get to use people and therefore are left without the resource of people. So when someone ignores you or says no to you, it's usually one reason. They don't see a good enough reason to engage. Yes, including the person who you're thinking, oh, that person just ignored me because they don't like me. Actually, someone who doesn't like you will happily do something for you if it helps their reputation. I've never really been bothered about people liking or not liking me. I'm a naturally polarizing character and I love it. It's one of my favorite things about me. I have never bothered about people liking me or not liking me. It is one of the most irrelevant things in the world. But if I was ever in a situation where someone didn't like me and I needed to use them for something, I would just play to their reputation or their clout. It is that simple, my darling. So don't worry about whether people like you or not. Figure out what their interest is and use them. Get what you want. For example, when you send a LinkedIn message to a senior professional in your field and you say, hey, I would like you to mentor me. I'd like you to mentor me. And they don't respond to you. So asking someone senior for mentorship is vague and expensive to their time. They don't see a clear reason to engage. That's what I need you to remember. I need to give people a clear reason to engage. If you remember that every time, you will be successful at using people to solve your own problem. If instead you said, can I have 10 minutes to ask you a very clear, specific question that is tied to their field or a project they might be working on? For your own research, your own video, your own whatever. That is much clearer and it gives them a clear reason to engage. Do you understand where I'm going with this? So the next time you want to use someone to solve a problem you have to ask yourself, have I given them a clear reason to engage with me? Have I given them a clear reason to respond back to my LinkedIn message, my email, or my text message? And then you will be able to use that person as a resource to solve your own problems. Now, I know Ryan Holiday said ego is the enemy, and I love Ryan Holiday and I respect his work. But today, ego is your friend because ego shapes reactions. Everybody wants to feel connected, respected, revered, adored. Everybody does. It's not just women. I mean, I certainly want to feel adored and I get that in my house. But people want to be respected. They want to be reverenced. Does that sound weird to you? People do. You do. So if you want to use people, or rather, when you want to use a certain person, you must always account for their ego. When people feel overlooked, ignored, threatened, or disrespected, they seek to protect themselves, protect their ego. That might look like them withdrawing. That might look like interruptions, being withdrawn, or being resistant to good ideas. You're going to get a lot of the third one in your office if you don't learn how to use people well. The first week after I became director, I went to lunch with my mentor at Euston Station, one of those pubs opposite Euston Station. I think it's called St. George's. Beautiful steak. And I wanted to bend her ear about questions I might have about how to step into this new role and what it takes and how to be excellent at it. She gave me advice that has stayed with me my entire life. Well, since about 4 years ago. She taught me that a lot of my ideas would meet friction and disagreement, which was surprising to me because I didn't have any plans of having awful, stupid ideas. But she said it wouldn't be because they were bad ideas. It would be because people's egos felt either unsafe or unstable. She told me that if I wanted to be a great leader, which I do always, I have to understand that my job is not to manage tasks, but to manage people. And I shouldn't obsess and focus solely on gathering and sharing information, which, if you know me, I tend to do because I love being overeducated. She said that I should instead be obsessed with how the information lands and how the information is transmitted to whoever I'm speaking to, and that it would affect how my projects, my proposals get approved, how my fellow directors perceive me, how my potential for promotion is analyzed. And I started to realize that I was about to get into a serious political game. It's not really about me gathering information or sharing information. It turns out that people don't really care about that so much. They care about how I make them feel. And I'm not saying this in a very soppy way of, oh my God, this is how to treat your team and make them feel. I'm saying people have massive egos. The sooner you learn how to stroke it, the better for you. That's what I'm saying in the most plain terms. When people feel respected, their cooperation increases. They don't give you friction. They don't give you any hassle. In fact, you don't even know when you have a bad idea because they just like how you make them feel. That's their ego in question. So again, ego shapes reactions, how people react to your information, your projects, your presentation, your proposals. All of that really, really depends on their egos. And if that's bad news for you, I have more. Did you know that most resistance tend to be about self-protection? Yes, I know that's bad news because you think it's about you and it's something that you can fix. And if I go back and tweak my presentation, and they won't be so resistant to this idea I have, a lot of it tends to be self-protection. When someone appears to be difficult, stubborn, or defensive, it's usually because they feel exposed. They may fear one of four things. So write this down. Number 1, they may fear looking uninformed. So they need to protect the perception of themselves, the perception that they are super intelligent and they know it all. Number 2, it could be because they fear losing control. If it is someone who is a pillar of authority, they might fear losing control or looking like they are losing control. Number 3, it could be because they fear being judged. Number 4, they could fear being replaced. I think when I do TikTok lives and I talk to the corporate girls and the corporate guys, everybody tends to have experienced at one point or the other a moment where it looks like you might be doing something better than your manager. And there tends to be this weird cold friction. And that's because people are afraid of being replaced, especially in this economy. There are no jobs out there. The robots are coming for our jobs. I'm joking. I'm joking. Well, I don't know. Well, maybe they are. They're definitely coming for some jobs. So people don't want to be replaced. That's why you get that weird cold friction with your manager. These are real fears that people have. Remember, we're learning how to use people psychologically, not morally, not emotionally. We need to tap into what is going on in their brains in order to use them effectively and efficiently. So they're afraid of looking uninformed, looking like they've lost control, being judged, or being replaced. If you can show that you have no intention of doing any of these, once you understand this, you stop taking people's behavior personally. The identity of the people you want to work with affect how they behave towards you. So now we've dealt with their ego and their fears. What about their identity? I believe that identity drives action. If ego shapes their reaction, then their identity drives their action. People don't act because of instructions and requests alone. They act because of who they believe themselves to be. And Shelby Sapp said this so beautifully in one of her Instagram videos. She said that when she's trying to get someone to buy something from her, she's a sales girly. When she's trying to get someone to buy something from her, she starts to speak to who they believe that they are. You are someone who makes decisions really quickly and you don't need to beat around the bush. You know if you want this product or not. So she starts to speak to who they believe that they are. It's a psychological thing. It's a psychological thing. And you need to learn how to do that. Or They behave in accordance to who they want people to believe that they are, who they really are, and who they believe they are, and who they want people to believe they are. If your request can just align with people's identity, you will get them to move a lot quicker. If you can get your request to align with who this person thinks they are, nobody gives a crap if they really are that person or not. Do they think they are that person? Make your request align to that. They will move faster. They will reply to your messages quicker. They will reply to your LinkedIn. They will connect with you on LinkedIn. It's psychological. This is how to use people. Using people 101, call it that. For example, my entire career working in GRC, I had to work with different departments. Legal, I had to work with tech, I had to work with operations. And so you can ask someone, do you have a second to help me with blah? Versus, you have a strong eye for risk. I'd really value your opinion and your perspective on blah. Do you have 5 minutes? I promise to make it quick. That is an entirely different request from, hey, can I get a second of your time to help with blah? Speak to who they believe that they are. And then you'll get whatever it is that you need from them, and you can use them and move on with your day. This is one of the most practical leadership skills you will ever learn. Pay attention to people, study them, see the things that they say about themselves. Nobody actually cares if that's really who they are. I need you to understand that. I think you're too stuck on, yeah, he said that he's this, but he's not really that. Nobody cares. If you're not his wife, I don't see why you give a crap, frankly. He believes he's A. He believes he's B. He thinks he is C. Pay attention, analyze that, study that, take a note of it, because tomorrow when you need to use him for something, you go back through your notes and you go, oh, didn't he say he was blah? I should probably mention that in my LinkedIn message, in my email. That's how you are going to get what you want out of people. Okay, so what people are we talking about? What types of people and categories of people will you need in your journey to, like I said, greatness? So there are 4 people I want you to be aware of in your journey. The strategist, the mirror, the executor, and the connector. Very important. Everybody who has ever done well in their life, including myself throughout my career, has had these 4. Maybe at different stages, but ideally at the same time. First, let's discuss the strategist. What do you need to use them for? The strategist improves your decision quality, and they're able to do this because the strategist tends to be a deep thinker. In the world of the 4 temperaments, I'd say that the strategist is a melancholic, not one of those I'm depressed all the time melancholics. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about someone who is a strategic thinker, someone who knows how to think, and thinking is a skill. Sorry, I just had to laugh because some people don't know that thinking is a skill. Thinking is a skill. And if you're interested in knowing how to think, why don't you tell me in the comments? And I would love to brain dump all of my thinking and years of research on how to think on you and for us to do it together. I'd love that. The strategist also helps you see consequences before they happen. So they have foresight. I'm not saying that they're psychic or a soothsayer. I'm saying that they can actually look ahead. They have foresight. Every builder, you're building a startup, you are building a business, you need a strategist. Say it with me. I need a... Well done. Your strategist has questions, and you might get fed up of them, and that's fine, but they have questions, and that's what they are there for. Your strategist could sometimes slow you down. Now, this can be a pro and a con, depending on what sort of symbiosis you have with your strategist. They move slower. Slow is good sometimes. Remember, we spoke about thinking fast and slow, and how there are times to think fast and there are times to think slow. So the strategist is there for the days when you need to slow down. Think slower. Think slower, girl. Come on now. I find that the strategists tend to be dads. Well, it depends on what your dad's like. My dad's not the think slower type of dad. He's the egg you on type of dad. If you said you wanted to steal the moon, he'd agree. He'd actually agree with you and say, let's go steal the moon. My dad is a crazy guy. Crazy guy. Okay, what else do you need to know about the strategist? Because I would like you to know how to spot them, go directly at them, find out what they think about themselves, find out what their interests are, use them, get what you want out of them. If you'd like to keep them, keep them. If you're done with them, out the door they go. It's up to you. Your strategist would most likely keep you from making costly mistakes. That is the work of the strategist. You can screenshot this. Number 2, you need a connector. Who is a connector? What do they do? And why do you need a connector for your business, your startup, your life, your brand? Now, my manager is a fantastic connector. What your connector does is that the connector shortens the distance between you and people. I will like to call them a distance shortener. When I take a picture of this and I post it on LinkedIn, those who haven't watched this video have no clue what distance shortener means, but you do. So your connector will shorten the distance between you and maybe a really important person that you would like to know, to speak to, or be in the room with. So they are great at introductions. They're great at introductions. They introduce you to people, to communities. They say your name in rooms where you aren't. They persist for you. The other day, I was on TikTok as a chronically online girl. God forgive me. This girl was talking about how her friend was invited to a TikTok award show. And her friend, bless her, replied to the email where the invite was and said, "Can I bring my friend?" This is an invite for her, solely just her, because either she has been recognized or blah, blah, blah. And her response to the email was, "Can I bring this other friend?" And then goes on to list out this very beautiful CV of who her friend is as a creator and says, "You would be so privileged to have her in the room as well. I would really like to bring her." And they respond and go, "No, this invite is for just you, okay?" She persists and she continues to talk about her friend. She shortens the distance between her friend and that TikTok award show as a connector. That's what you need in a connector. With a connector on your side, your progress depends entirely on time and luck. Why? Because the odds are they've already said your name several times to people, and it's only a matter of time. And if you're lucky and they're free, that's it. That's you done. Because someone has already gone ahead of you and said your name and pestered them and said your projects and showed a picture of you and sent your LinkedIn. That's what your connector does. You need a connector. Think about all the people that you would love to be in a room with. Now think about the distance between you and them. This is you. This is, I don't know, Tony Stark. I should probably use an example of a real person, shouldn't I? Okay, no, you're right. This is you. This is you, and this is Indra Nooyi. Who's surprised that I said Indra Nooyi? This is you, and this is, I keep wanting to say Tony Stark. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. Richard Branson. This is you, and this is Grace Beverly. Oh, I love Grace. This is you, and this is Grace Beverly. You need a connector. The distance between you and whoever it is that you want to speak to, have a conversation with, interview, it's too broad. We need to shorten it. Get yourself a connector. I think that was a northern accent. I'm not sure. Don't worry about it. Number 3, you need an executor. Your executor turns ideas into actions, especially if in the mix you are the thinker. If you tend to be the deep thinker, the person who moves slower, the person who has to think about things 50,000 times before executing, then you need an executor. If you're building a business, if you're building a brand, if you're building your personal brand, if you're starting a startup, the second start word is a bit redundant, but if you are building a startup, you need an executor, my darling. Especially if you're someone whose brain is just full all the time. Number 3, you need an executor, especially if you are the person who thinks slow. Then you need an executor. Your executor will turn your ideas into actions. Number 2, they will bring structure, timelines, and consistency. Number 3, they will reduce chaos for you. Number 4, they will move things from theory to reality. So that is who your executor is. Number 4, and finally, you need a mirror. Your mirror will be great at pointing out your blind spots. They will challenge your self-deceptions. They will give you stable judgment. I think that a lot of us will find our mirrors in our parents. When we're building, we tend to focus on, I need to speak to an investor and I need to speak to this friend who can become my co-founder, etc. I think that our parents will keep us grounded when we are building, especially if you have good parents. So your mirror will reflect patterns you can't see. For me, my mirrors are my husband and my dad. They are great at reminding me exactly who I am, especially when I start to doubt myself. And they're great at watching my blind spots. So, who is your mirror? So now that you know the 4 types of people that you need, you can go ahead and build your circle. Strong networks don't just happen. They aren't accidental. It is intentional. People going out there and looking for their missing piece and thinking of how they can use them efficiently in order to solve their problems. And here's the kicker. If you're using people, they are using you too. But I think you knew that already, and that's fine. If you are building a startup, if you are trying to start a business, if you're looking for a co-founder, think about how you are going to build that circle. So when you're building your circle, I want you to think of people like capital. Number 1, you need bridging capital. What is bridging capital? You need people outside your world. They will introduce new thinking. They will show you what is possible, especially if you haven't experienced a certain level of success before. If you are from a certain part of the world, I'd like you to connect with people from the opposite part of the world. They are your bridging capital. And number 2, you need linking capital. That's what I like to call them. Linking capital are people with influence and authority. People with influence and or authority, they aren't the same thing. Your linking capital will support your change trajectory. If you are trying to pivot into a particular space, people who have influence in that space can link you. And your bonding capital. Your bonding capital are people who know your characteristics, they know your value, and they keep you grounded. I should have actually called this your grounding capital. Let's change that. They are your grounding capital. They know your values, they know who you are, they know your character. And as you become great, they will keep you grounded. They will stabilize you. When all 3 exists, there isn't really an opportunity that won't find you and that you won't successfully get. Now, on your end, what will affect your ability to use people effectively? Number 1, timing. Timing will affect how successful you are at using people. So, read the room. If you are sending someone a connect to have 10 minutes of a chat with you and they have just gotten a new role, you can expect that for the first month of that new role, they are acclimatizing to the new environment they're in, the new job, understanding what that person's name is, the person who sits across from them, because they can't remember their name. I don't know how long it takes you to remember people's names, but it takes me about a month to remember what someone's name is. And when I remember it, I don't forget. So timing matters. You need to be able to read the room. that means that you should actually go through their LinkedIn posts. And that might sound mundane, but I know that a lot of us, we don't actually scour people's LinkedIn post before we send them messages. The way that LinkedIn is set up right now these days, people actually share what's going on in their lives. The LinkedIn we have today is not the LinkedIn of 5 years ago. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's changing. People are actually sharing what's happening in their lives, their personal lives, what's going on in their journeys, what's going on behind the scenes. So you should be able to tell when someone's kid is poorly or when someone has just lost a spouse. A lot of these things tend to be shared on LinkedIn. So you want to use people, learn to read the room. It will come in handy for you. Number 2, the quality of your questions. I attended a TEDx last year, and one of the TED Talks was Ask Better Questions, and trust me, I am going to get him on this channel to talk to us about how to ask better questions. But for right now, you just have me, and I'm telling you that you need to ask better questions. Asking someone if they are free for a chat for 10 minutes is probably not going to get a response. In fact, you might just end up irritating them. Do you ever get one of those text messages that just says, hey? Hey. Hi. Hello. That's what that sounds like. Are you? Oh my God. Oh my God, you're one of them. I'm so scared of you right now. If you are one of those people who just send people messages and just say, hi, are you free for a chat? Or you send people messages and you just say, hi, hello, hey there, oh my God, hey there, and then nothing, just air. I think you might deserve to be blocked. Ask better questions. Please ask better questions, because you might go from being completely unknown to blocked, and then you never got a chance to talk to them. Now what? Now what are you gonna do? Yeah, okay. Read the room, ask better questions, because for goodness sake, when you get an opportunity, I need you to strike surgically. None of that messing around. We don't have time for that. Number 3, and finally, I need you to have some emotional regulation. When you send a message to someone, and I'm using LinkedIn a lot because that's where most of us meet people, especially if an event where they're at is a bit steep. So you tend to meet people on LinkedIn. Emotional regulation is needed. Don't message someone 5 times back to back. You're not going to get to use them. You're going to get to irritate them. You're going to get to seriously piss them off. But you won't have an opportunity to use them for what they are worth. Regulate your emotions. Calm down. Crikey. You weirdo. Okay, my darling, as I start to wind down, I want to tell you why some people will be better at solving your problems than you will be. I know you already know they have skills and they have money, but I want to tell you something else that you haven't thought of. So how do people solve problems you can't? Number 1, perspective. Many people, through their experiences or through their network, have perspectives that you most likely will never have. And this is why the conversation around diversity is so important. People bring varied perspectives to one problem, and that variety in perspective is so important in order to get this problem solved. Now you need to get some of that. Get some perspective, but get it through people. Perspective. Number 2, information. So many people are just better informed than you are. So many people have information that their parents have passed on to them, that their mentors have told them, that they received from a university or a course that they studied, that you don't have. That is not a weakness. That is just a gap that you need to fill, and you just need to get that person and their information into your circle or into your network and use them. Did you forget what this video was about? It's about using people. Number 3, leverage. I love the word leverage. I don't get to use it often. Some people have certain leverages that you don't have, and you can't possibly have because you don't have the resources that they do. Number five, pattern recognition. Pattern recognition is one of the top reasons I give when I advise people to incorporate neurodivergent people into their teams. Neurodiversity allows people to recognize patterns in a way that neurotypicals don't. When someone has dyslexia or has ADHD, they tend to recognize patterns quickly. When people have been in certain situations or certain environments, there are patterns that they have noticed and they can recognize in other situations that you might not be able to because you don't have that first experience. But also neurodivergent people have the ability to recognize patterns quicker, faster, and for longer than neurotypicals do. So, pattern recognition, leverage, information, and perspective. Now, before I go, I want to give you the 3 C's of asking questions. 3 C's. Number 1, clarity. Number 2, context. Number 3, containment. That was fast. Number 1, clarity. I need you to be incredibly clear. In fact, too clear about exactly what it is you want from people. People are busy. I don't know if you've noticed, but we are in a busy world. Even going out to dinner or brunch with my best friends requires a calendar and 1 month advance notice. People are busy. Okay? Number 2, context. Why does this matter? Why does it matter to them? Remember what we said about aligning with their interests. Why does it matter to them where they're at, their goals, their ego, etc.? But also, why does it matter to you? Because God help you, you might run into a good Samaritan and they might actually care why it matters to you. But for the most part, people tend to care why it matters to them. So see if you can focus on that. Number 3, containment. Give a clear time. A very, very clear time. How long would this take? It's going to be a 10-minute call. If you're on the call and you guys have fantastic rhythm and brilliant symbiosis and you're just bouncing off of each other, that's great. I'm happy for you. And then the call could possibly last for an hour. But when you send that message, that email, when you shake their hand, I need you to be incredibly clear about how much time you need from them. Because God help you, you bump into someone who time blocks like I do. 10 minutes is 10 minutes. 15 is 15. 25 is 25. Clarity, context, and containment will help you get the attention of the people you want to use and to retain their attention. You see, using people to solve your problems is not optional. It is not a matter of who is more moral or who is more ethical than the other person. In fact, I want you to send this video to someone who is so scared of using people, talking to people, communicating. Someone who would rather break their left leg than ask someone for help, than reach out. Someone who is so afraid of being rejected that they literally will never send an email, will never send a connect, and will never say hello. Send it to them right now. But also send it to them because I want you to invite someone else to watch this video. I want you to learn how to use people in 2026 because human beings, people, are a resource. They're not gods. They're a resource, like my Osmo Pocket 3 I'm filming on right now, like my laptop, like my lights around me. People are resources. They are there to be used, and people want to be used, FYI. They want to be used. It makes them feel, guess what? Useful. It makes them feel useful. So they want to be used. So go right ahead and use them. Respectfully. You are not entitled to anybody's time. So be respectful. Show them why they're important. Be clear. Give context. Contain their expectation for how long they're going to be there with you. And find your executor. Find your connector. Find your mirror. Find your 4 characters. Especially if you're building something like I am. As you know, I'm building Emboldened. So the conclusion is that people aren't optional. But that's why you're here at the Ultimate Problem Solvers podcast, so that even if you feel like you don't know how to deal with people, you can always come back here and I will solve that problem for you. So come back next week and we can talk more about problems and how to solve them. Please like, comment, talk to me in the group chat. Talk to me in the comment section. I'm looking forward to talking to you too. Tell me what you agree with, what you don't agree with. And if you didn't like that I kept saying you need to use people, you can tell me that too. I guess I could listen to that, possibly. But I'm so happy to be back with you, my darling. I have missed you. I've missed you so much. What a joy it is to be back. You special, 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 special person. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing it. I love all of that. And I love you. Truly, I do. See you next week, my darling. Bye.